Good afternoon, almost good evening to one and all present here. I start with my 5th lecture in this series. I hope all of you can hear me clearly. Am I loud enough? Do you want me to be louder?
You're audible, sir.
Good. So today's lecture is also once again a very interesting topic. I will try to keep it as easy, student-friendly as possible. What is the purpose of these lectures? I have explained on previous occasions, but there was a request from one of my students that I should give a little, if possible, human element to the work that I'm going to present today. Part of it I may do the lecture proper, some part of it if I'm questioned in the question answer session. There are human elements to science. We actually sanitize science. Hans Krebs, the Nobel laureate, who got the Nobel Prize for his work on respiration, said, we sanitize science. It is not represented in the manner it happened. I will start this lecture by mentioning a name of a former student and the year. That will give you a rough idea. The origin of this work again lies in 1976, as did the previous lectures from my trip to Germany to the Max Planck Institute for Biochemistry. 1976-77 as a German academic exchange scholar, Deutscher Akademischer Austauschdienst. So I just finished my morning lab class at about 1:10. I was walking towards my house in the campus of St. Stephen's College. A young boy followed me. I remember his name, I think it's Manish Tandon. Second year student, or was he a third year student at that time, sir? What are you doing this afternoon, sir? I did not know what to say. I said, how did this boy know? I asked him, how do you know? Yes, I'm going somewhere. Sir, where can I ask? Well, I'm going to Narayana, to the Continental Devices, a factory run by microelectronics unit run by Tiffany and Sardarji. Two of his children subsequently became students of our college. Manish actually accompanied me with my samples to this industrial house, where by the evening I was assigned 2 scientists, one of them a student of physics from St. Stephen's College. He's still there, post-retirement at the age of 67, 68. They did work on my samples and produced some results. And the young Sardarji came up to me and said, sir, ye aapka result hai, dekhiye. I thought it was the border or something of a sari, which ladies wear in India. It was a print of a circuit on a silicon wafer. I don't know whether you are seeing this slide, very beautiful slide from Mohenjo-daro. I have never gone to Mohenjo-daro. I don't know how many of us have gone to Mohenjo-daro. But you must note, I have not completed Manish's story. I've left it in the middle. We'll pick it up somewhere later towards the end of the lecture and the question answer session. Please believe me, this is no previous slide. This is not Mohenjo-daro. This is the surface of a silicon wafer. Can I have the first slide, please, again? This is the surface of silicon wafer, where at 1 micron, you have walls and there are cavities which are etched by an acid where some coating was removed, so it became sensitive to hydrogen fluoride. These are microelectronic circuits at a resolution of 1 micron. Yes, the next slide will emphasize something on which I will not talk very much. All photoresists, this is the chemical that you coat on the silicon wafer to make a microchip. Yes, precisely. This is a multi-billion-dollar industry. Please correct me later that some people are making photoresists in India. This work was done by me in 1989-90. Then in 2001, I was given a student by SSPL, DRDO, in St. Stephen's College, who completed his PhD by 2004, is now a scientist E in one of the defense labs in India, in Kanpur to be precise. Photoresists are largely imported from foreign countries. Is that true even today? The government this year has announced that it is going to take a very major initiative on the semiconductor ecosystem and wants to invest a huge amount of money. The photoresist, the workhorses of the microelectronic industry is chemistry, but the whole process is physics. The entire overall system, ecosystem, is electronics, microelectronics. But you know, in my title today, there is another word, which is nanolithography. The work I did and completed it by 2004 and then continued it to 2011, 12, publishing immensely, very large number of papers on this, was on microelectronics, microlithography, printing circuits on silicon wafers at micron level. But today people are saying, आपने नैनो सर्किट प्रिंट किया है, बता रहा हूं टेक्नोलॉजी शायद इंडिया में है ही नहीं, और अब भी हम चाहते हैं कि इंडियन टेक्नोलॉजी हो तो उसको दबा दिया जाए। मैं ज्यादा नहीं बोलना चाहता हूं। आप सब बासमती का पेटेंट के बारे में जानते हैं, हल्दी के पेटेंट के बारे में जानते हैं, उस पर अभी चर्चा नहीं करूंगा टॉक के दौरान, बट इफ यू वांट टू आस्क क्वेश्चंस at the end of the lecture, you may certainly do so. As we see in this slide, I will expand it on my mobile and see it. If you see, there is a dark colored syrupy liquid kept cashew nut shell liquid. Those who come from Kerala, Karnataka, and some parts of Tamil Nadu are familiar with the cashew fruit. Those in North India are more familiar for the afternoon coffee, where there's a salted cashew nut given to you at a certain price. It is quite costly. How are these connected to making the microchip? Sir, are you giving a lecture? Are you giving a lecture on science, or you are telling some stories and some fictional part of stories? No. Around the year 2000, I had hardly any place to work in St. Stephen's. There was a big change in 1992 in St. Stephen's College. My lab was literally locked. And the bishop, the chairman, walked up to me. The late Dr. Horace Jacob walked up to me. Dr. Saab, aapko register lete hu ghar jate hu dekha. Aap वापिस आ जाइए ना. By that time, I had taken up a position, permanent position, but I was on Lien, L-I-E-N from St. Stephen's College, continued to be on Lien as Principal of Deshbandhu College, where I was sent to cleanse the whole thing without using any excessive power. Believe me, this is part of the story. So you know, I went to Tamil Nadu, to a Marudamalai estate in Chennai or near Chennai, and a Haryana Jat set up an industrial unit in that place, spoke impeccable Tamil, very good in Tamil. I could not compete with him. He understood me. He gave me cardinal. If you see the structure, cardinal with that C16 chain attached to the position meta with respect to the phenolic OH. The other compound is metacresol. So I carried this by train and made a polymer in Tumba with my student Devmalya Roy, who said, this is not science, this is magic, sir. I don't know how you did it. It was very smelly stuff. Cardinal from cashew nut shell liquid was converted into a polymer. This was patented by me as early as 2002, 2001 or 2002. The Indian patent was granted to us and assigned it to DRDO. So it's not my property, it's DRDO's property. This is a cardinal metacresol alternating polymer with a polydispersivity value close to 1.02. That means every molecule of metacresol has one molecule of cardinol alongside it, alternating. It's a light fawn-colored, brownish-colored polymer. from a very dirty looking, thick, viscous cashew nut shell liquid. The Haryana person, Ishwar Singh, was vacuum distilling this in a huge reactor at about 185 degrees. He took the fraction and therefore he gave me the cardinal free. I went to Tumba, helped by a former director of the ISRO. I was allowed a laboratory there where I worked with my student in the June and July of 2000. Then there were administrative problems because about that time, very well-known incident which has been made into a Bollywood movie. It's a great success about that scientist who was caught as a spy, later on proved not to be the case. So we had difficulties in carrying out. That is where I first made this polymer, 2000, 2001, 2000 summer, and the PhD was granted in 2004. At any time you have some thoughts, please note them down on a piece of paper, put it in your, what is it called, chat box, and the administrators will notice what are the questions and thoughts. I will come back to this. This slide is a very beautiful slide made by me around that time. It'll make a little noise. I don't worry. If you can put it in slideshow and run it, it will show some action. Can you run it in slideshow? I can't hear the sound, but there is a sound attached to it. No harm. Start the slide. See, we have taken the silicon wafer, and on top of it, we have put this so-called photoresist made in St. Stephen's College, both from metacresol, paracresol, which are simple chemicals available in India. That's what is commercially available from most commercial houses abroad, which we buy in huge quantities at very high cost. Even the developer, we will hear the developer, which is nothing but aqueous sodium hydroxide imported. This coating is exposed to UV light of a certain wavelength, either 366 nanometers or 250 nanometers. So that means either deep UV or, a less intense UV radiation. The yellow color has become red. That means the solubility properties of the resist. It resists the action of light. Therefore, it's a photoresist. Has become red. There are two possibilities. In the next portion, as my friend clicks this, you will see that in one case, that red has become more soluble. In the other case, it has become more insoluble. So when it becomes more insoluble, the image that you get on the silicon wafer after hydrogen fluoride etching is a negative image. On the other hand, when it becomes more soluble, you get a positive image. That means there are resists of two types: positive resist, negative resist. Negative resist gives an image which is negative of the mask, where the patterns are drawn. This work was done by me in 1990s, initially in Continental Devices, Narayana. Then I was advised by a senior advisor from Ministry of Electronics. Nobody will listen to you if you do not repeat it in a national lab. So I went to, hold on, please. I went to the solid state physics laboratory. I was not known to anybody. The director received me. Before I went officially, some people received me unofficially, and they tested it. Then they put it up to the section head, then to the director. The whole thing was, a report was submitted, internal report 1990. Please remember how many years it takes. You'll understand by the end of this lecture. So my young friend Manur Bhau has picked up a video which I have myself not seen. It will explain possibly how a photoresist is used to etch a silicon wafer. You need very good clean room facilities. So I summarize. There are two types of photoresist: negative photoresist, positive photoresist. And what I claimed, nobody understood me in India. In fact, misquoted me. I said, I have a negative photoresist which can be developed as if it were a positive photoresist. This is stated in my patent. It is stated in my publications. But I was misquoted, maybe deliberately. What does it show, young man? A positive photoresist, a negative photoresist. And the mechanism of action is shown that how, and this happens within minutes, if not seconds. This exposure development can be done in a very short span of time. There is a huge degree of science, both chemistry and physics, some not fully understood. There is a Hanabata stone ball model from Japan. It says during this process of photolysis, possibly a little either nitrogen or a small amount of carbon dioxide is generated. And this makes the entire so-called wall made of this photoresist material porous. And in one case, it becomes very soluble. In the other case, is very highly insoluble. Within minutes, you can have a pattern on the photoresist. Within minutes, you can have a pattern. This pattern, which is shown here on the left-hand side, is a pattern on a silicon wafer. You see, the process is the photoresist consists of a few components. You need a polymer, which is called a novolac resin, metacresol, paracresol resin. We made the resin in St. Stephen's College, first time in Tumba in ISRO, then came back and reproduced this in St. Stephen's College. My student took about 7 months to reproduce it, what I had done in Tumba with my own hand. Every day I will watch him at work. Then how to cut the fraction from where you can get the polymer in good yields with a polydispersivity value, PD value of 1.02, which is near ideal. Ideal is 1. There are two molecular weights, number average molecular weight and weight average molecular. MW by MN is close to 1. That means the species are more or less identical. Yes, this is that stone wall model. If you have seen, in one case, the wall has come apart, the top case. In the second case, the wall has stuck together more strongly. The upper case, the wall becomes soluble. The lower case, that resist becomes insoluble. But this differentiation between the so-called, solubility should be so great that you should be able to see this within minutes. You should be able to observe this change. Then only you can successfully print a circuit on the silicon wafer, because next step, first step I said, hold on, go back, please. First step, you take a photoresist, which is made up of a novolac resin. There is a photoactive component. There are two types of photoactive components. There are many, but I'm mentioning two. Previous slide will show you one. Earlier slide will show you an aromatic acid on which I talked in my first lecture on Vishwamayin. This aromatic acid was made in 1988 in St. Stephen's College, part of another PhD from St. Stephen's College, the first PhD with me. It was patented through NRDC. Even today, there is nobody else who has made this aromatic acid, 2 chlorines, 2 methyls, 1 nitro, and 1 azide on top. This azide, this aryl azide, is made in St. Stephen's College. Of course, the patent is run out now. And we second year students worked with me in 1989, one afternoon, 4 o'clock in the afternoon till 10 o'clock. These days, it will be very difficult to do something like this because mobile phones will be ringing from home. What happened to my kids? The two labs were fully occupied. The Indian Academy of Sciences wants me to write on this phenomenon. We produced on the first day in batch process 400 grams of the first step. Second step, we got 200 grams. Third step, we got 125 grams. Every student who participated in this work, to begin with about 40 or 50 students, then the number dropped because we did not need so many hands. All of them became professors in America. A charge against me, your students are in America. What can I do if they found American pastures greener and they were allowed to work there more freely? Number two is another photoactive component, which is even today, please correct me and find me to be wrong in my statement. Diazonaptoquinone was made very successfully in the CSIR lab in Hyderabad. CSIR lab in Hyderabad. I'm still in touch with that scientist who was retired. We are proposing to resurrect, thanks to Dr. Sujit, who is in the audience, and Mr. Manur Bhav Arya. They want me to restart this entire work. Diazonaptoquinone, the complicated structure, is not made in India. Please tell me I'm wrong. Jayatirath Rao from IICT can join me, has agreed to join me and do this. Why two? Why number one and number two? My aromatic azide led to a negative photoresist, negative image. And then the etching gave you a pattern which was negative to the mask compared to the mask. Diazonaptoquinone shown in the second point, red number two, led to the formation of a positive image. Both negative and positive images were made by us and described in our patent, which was granted to me in 2010. Patent application was around 2001. Fortunately, I was one of the members of the National Committee where a joint project was given to National Chemical Laboratory Pune and the IICT Hyderabad with the chair director of Solid State Physics Laboratory Delhi, a strategic laboratory where I did most of this work as the chairman of the committee. I was also for 3 years a member of this committee, but believe me, eventually no photoresist came, though huge amount of money was spent. And at the same time, I had produced one. This is the Hanabata stone ball model, which I explained that within seconds, within minutes, this differentiation in a negative or a positive case where this solubility of the photoresist layer on exposure to light either dramatically increases so that it becomes totally soluble in that portion or it becomes highly insoluble. This is the fundamental aspect of this entire work. So I repeat, in my patent application granted in 2010, but remember, there is another part of the story why the American patent was not granted. You will ask me in the question answer session. I will highlight that. But coming back to the point, differential solubility is a very important criterion for successfully printing patterns on silicon wafers, then etching it, and then subsequently making microelectronic devices. I repeat, photoresists are the workhorses of the microelectronics industry. Photoresists, even today, is a multi-billion-dollar industry, and we are not producing. I hope my statements are wrong. I'm outdated. You can say no photoresist is being commercially produced in India. Everything that's used by industry, by the university systems, electronics industry in India is all totally imported. Next slide will show you that our process is absolutely green. The other day, a student asked me, what is meant by green? That it is environmentally friendly, and the aryl azide that we used for this process, where we claim, the claim has been upheld, a negative photoresist which could be developed like a positive photoresist. That means the existing infrastructure instruments did not need to be changed. I am not sure that the system has encouraged me thoroughly. I'm not sure, but my two students with me now tell me that, sir, it is time people hear you. On the left-hand side in the slide is a pattern which has been etched on the silicon wafer in SSPL in Timarpur, Delhi. And one point, you see the lines kind of, bars, which are pointing towards this, the pattern which is given to us, the mask, and it's been reproduced. One part of the slide, the surface has been etched. The other part, in the same process, it has resisted etching. It is not allowed. So the patterns are formed. The next slide on the right-hand side, it will grow. The scientists from Professor C.N.R. Rao's lab helped me to get this. This is a picture of a profilometer where you are seeing two colors. The color bar is shown on the right-hand side, vertical color bar. The orange is somewhere on the left-hand side. That has not been etched because it became insoluble. The purplish colored surface of silicon wafer, where you see the values shown, I know I'm not able to read, it's about 126 microns, the distance, and the height is shown on the bar on the right-hand side. That means the purple side of the surface, the photoresist has been washed off. The orangish or yellowish orangish surface on the left-hand side has not been dissolved, so it's not been etched. It's a very beautiful picture from a profilometer. Please remember, St. Stephen's College is an undergraduate college. We don't have any such facilities. And these are very costly instruments which became accessible to me in SSPL, the first part of my life. By 2012, we had published papers on deep UV microlithography at 254 nanometers, the UV radiation. The patterns have a resolution of 5 microns. These are good patterns. I am not saying by any means that we have a finished technological product, but I stopped work in this area around the time I retired from St. Stephen's College, because when I had to go from St. Stephen's in 2014, December or so, I went to the lab of biotechnology. There are no facilities like this, and one-way distance from that lab to SSPL would have been about 45 kilometers. We made in SSPL using our photoresist a night vision camera. Beautiful. This is available on the picture, the cover page of Resonance published from the Indian Academy of Sciences, Bangalore. Those students in the audience would know every year in December, Indian Academy of Sciences publishes a list of scientists with whom students can intern for an entire summer. If they are selected formally, they are provided travel money, they are provided money to stay in the place where they have chosen or they have been chosen for, and they get some, monetary compensation. They do science for 2.5 months in vacations, and they get a certificate. I would rather ask my student, Manubhav Arya, आप हैं वहाँ? क्या दिखा रहे हैं Manubhav Arya? जरा बताइए ना, मैं बोलूं अच्छा नहीं लगता. Please tell me what is written there. I can read it, though with some difficulty.
Yes, I will read out. So the title I will read out: A process for preparation of cashew nut shell CNSL based high ortho Novolac copolymers assigned to DRDO. So this is the title of the patent which was assigned to DRDO in 2010. And it was, yes, sir. It was on the cashew nut shell liquid based Novolac resins which sir prepared.
Thank you. Manubhav, thank you for reading and helping me to catch my breath if there was a need at all. Thank you so much. I thought a different voice should read this out. This patent was granted to me in 2012. This is 2014. 2023, on the suggestions and advice by my student, Dr. Sujit Kumar Thakur and Manubhav, we went to SSPL after many, many years. The lady who worked with me in 1989, 1990 and gave a formal internal report was then director of the solid state physics laboratory. She was retired in a few months. Her name is Dr. Seema Vinay. This is a letter from Dr. Abdul Kalam, the president of India at that time, and he was very kind to me. Dr. Abdul Kalam and the then defense minister were aware. He said, we are very, can you read that portion again? The minister's statement, my young friend, Manubhav.
So, dear Dr. Eswaran, this has reference to your letter dated 1st of March 2008 regarding US patent application number 10/4.
Please note, US patent application.
Yes.
Inquiry must be ordered why the US patent was not granted to me. It was I fought with the DRDO authorities in the headquarters for 5 hours. My student didn't understand what I was talking. One of the objections given by the patent examiner in USA was that this is not a new process. It's just like making PCBs, printed circuit boards. The second patent cited against me said, cashew nut shell liquid cannot be used for this purpose. I pointed it out to them. We have used it successfully. Next part of the letter.
Yes,
Read it.
the matter has been got examined. The above US patent application was filed by DRDO, taking the priority of earlier filed Indian patent application number 687 DEL 2001. My officers in DRDO shall be making every possible effort for successful grant of patent on above DRDO application. You may be pleased to know that the corresponding Indian patent application has already been accepted for grant. Our officials shall be forwarding a copy of the patent document when they receive it from the Patent Office, Delhi. With regards, A.K. Antony.
Thank you so much, Manarbhav. I'm grateful to you for reading because it's in fine print, difficult for me to read. I could have read it from the mobile, not from the laptop. Next slide. Actually, these are patents and publications list concerning only this particular process. Patent is 2010. Some of the other patents which are work done in St. Stephen's College are listed. Some of the publications are listed. This is in Journal of Applied Polymer Science. And if you notice, the year is 2002, 2003, 2009, 2008. And these are the ones which are not based on cashew nut shell liquid, but on metacrysol, paracrysol. But we focus as academics. We are not interested in money. We wanted to know the mechanism. How do the negative photoresist work? How do the positive photoresist work? We did a lot of work on NMR, nuclear magnetic resonance spectroscopy. Again, there were no such facilities in St. Stephen's College. How could we do so? But God sent, unfortunately, Professor Partha Raghunathan, who retired. He was IIT Kanpur, a physical chemist, then became the founder head of NMR department at All India Institute of Medical Sciences. Unfortunately, in retirement in Delhi during the COVID times, his 2 brothers had died in Chennai prior to that. He walked into the hospital in AIMS, and duly in a few days, he had left his human body. Partha Raghunathan is mentioned in all these papers, and our students and me, myself, have enjoyed his gracious, help to us. So also Mrs. Raghunathan, who also passed away before him, who would entertain us and also feed us. This is the end of the first part of the lecture. What did I say? I said, I printed microelectronic circuits at micron level. This is microelectronics. This is not making a printed circuit board which you can see with your naked eye. This takes you to a different level. We're not talking of microelectronics. We are not talking of microlithography. We are not talking only of Novolac-based resists. We are talking about what are called as E-beam resists. That is, electron microscope-based electron beam is made to attack the resist. The photoresist in this case is not what we made and described in the first part of the book. This paper focuses on the multi-adapt derivative of fullerene. Those who remember my second lecture would remember that we have made water-soluble nanocarbon materials, and we have shown that they have tremendous anti-cancer activity with little or no cytotoxicity. Today we are not talking about this. अरे बात तो पूछो यार, let me ask. सर ये स्टूडेंट्स को आप क्या बता रहे हैं? आप बता रहे हैं कि हमने सेंट स्टीफेंस कॉलेज में काम करते हुए $multi-billion इंडस्ट्री का फोटो रेसिस्ट जो आज हुई 2010 के बाद 14 साल हो गए, जो आज भी कोई इंडिया में नहीं प्रोड्यूस कर रहा, पूरा इंपोर्ट हो रहा है, आपने बना रखा है. तो आपने आगे इंडस्ट्री क्यों नहीं चलाई? मैं अध्यापक हूं, आई एम ए टीचर. I am not required to produce money. I produce students. They are occupying very important positions in India and abroad in many, many universities and research institutions. I am not required. The mandate of a teacher is different from the mandate of an industrial scientist or shall we say, a private party who want to make profit. This is not our immediate mandate. My mandate was to produce good students, which St. Stephen's College Chemistry Department Science Block has done in huge numbers. Multi-adduct derivatives of C60 fullerene for what? As E-beam resist. You know that I have many such samples with me. The next slide will show you what I'm talking. This is no longer micron level. This is at what nanometers? I think 14 nanometers, and the bar in the middle is 200 nanometers. Much, much higher levels of resolution. I am very happy to say the group in IIT Mandi has done very good work in recent years, which was brought to my notice in a formal meeting with the ministry, the last, I think, April or so. I'm very happy to say that Intel has recognized it. It is going to be commercialized, hopefully. But remember, it's putting the cart before the horse. Kyun bataiye? Because we have not taken the first baby steps in microelectronics. We are going to nanolithography, which is good. And again, you are seeing this particular slide re-emphasizes that fullerene derivatives are very useful as resists for electron beam lithography. Do you have a dream that in St. Stephen's College, you will have an electron microscope in the middle of the science block, a beautiful air-conditioned room where you can do this work? Forget that dream. I'm able to say confidently because I'm producing research work even today. Little money, almost no space, almost no work hands to work with, or students or collaborators. But I am proposing a multi-institutional project between IIT Roorkee, IICT Hyderabad, an institution in Coimbatore, my own limited liability partnership converted just on 25th of September into a private limited company as required. What am I saying? मैं ये नहीं कह रहा हूं कि भाई इससे मैं कैंसर को ट्रीट कर दूंगा, वो तो अलग बात थी, सेकेंड लेक्चर में खत्म हो गया। अब मैं कह रहा हूं मटेरियल साइंस में माइक्रोलिथोग्राफी में, माइक्रो इलेक्ट्रॉनिक्स में, नैनोलिथोग्राफी में, नैनो डिवाइसेस में एक छोटा सा कार, 4 पहिए वाला, a car with 4 wheels running inside your blood vessels to clear the clot, prevent a heart attack. This is what Ben Feringa has done and to win the Nobel Prize. He came to St. Stephen's College, I told you. We are capable of doing this. See again this particular title. Manohar Bhau, please read the title for us.
Yes, so on the right-hand side, all of you can see it is a very recent paper published in 2022 in the Journal of Physical Chemistry Letters. So it's titled A Fullerene Platinum Complex for Direct Functional Patterning of Single Metal Atom Embedded Carbon Nanostructures. Even you are able to see the photo, which is here, that fullerene is there and it is functionalized with, and platinum complex is made.
What is the level of resolution, Manohar Bhava?
Yes.
Can you read
Yes,
the level
yes.
of resolution?
So you can see in the bottom photos that 50 nanometer is the scale which is mentioned there, and the resolution attained is 9 nanometers. So
what is the
this
difference between a micron and a nanometer? Yaar, samjhao yaar, hame nahi pata hai.
Yes, so micron, I hope all of you know that 10 to the power minus 6 meters we refer to as micron. And if we go 1000 times less, that is 10 to the power minus 9. This is what we call nanometers. And the standard nanometer range is from 1 to 100 nanometers. So nowadays, with development of advanced semiconductor manufacturing, people are demanding that we require sub 20 nanometers nodes in
My
the field of
young friend,
resist.
Manohar
Yes,
Bhava and Sujit,
yes, yes.
please answer. Is Dr. Eswaran claiming that he can flood St. Stephen's College with money with his technology? क्या ये dream है क्या?
Not exactly we can, that it is not exactly a dream. We can actualize it.
Are you confident?
Yes, yes.
Thank you. Go on to the next slide, please. देखो यहाँ they are doing with reduced graphene oxide, which is much cheaper, and its derivatives. They are doing electron beam lithography, and they are doing three-dimensional sculptures being made. Sculpting with the E-beam. Unbelievable. ये पता नहीं क्या दिखाया है इन्होंने. ये जो दाएं वाला फोटो क्या याद कराता है आपको? कुछ फिगर बनाया है ना, स्कल्प्ट किया है. कल गणेश जी की मूर्ति बना सकते हैं आप बैठे हुए, ऐसा मेरे को प्रतीत होता है. ये कब का पेपर है बताइए बच्चे?
Yes, sir, it is a 2020.
The next slide. These are our papers published earlier on cashew nut shell liquid based tertiary butyl oxycarbonyl derivatives as E-beam, possible E-beam resist. But we could not do work on this because we did not have access to E-beam facilities. The right one is similar but possibly based on metacrysol and paracrysol, which are conventional resists. This time, I am not talking of micron level photoresists. I'm talking of nanometer level resolution, 2 nanometers, 4 nanometers, 14 nanometers. Anything up to 100 nanometers is defined under the word nanotechnology. We can make nano devices. These devices will not, here is a three-dimensional, that very multicolored, 3D picture on the left-hand side, how we make it from cardinal-based novolac resin, which we had described in the earlier part of the talk, and how tertiary butyl carbonate in the presence of a small amount of crown ether overnight makes all the phenolic groups protected by the tertiary butyl oxycarbonyl group. This tertiary butyl oxycarbonyl group in the exposed region will be cleaved. So it will become soluble. The other one, which is not cleaved, will remain insoluble. So you can draw nano level patterns. Wish her good luck. Wish India good luck. That kaju ka tel, cashew nut cell liquid से cardinal जो phenol substituted metacrysol, but it's not a methyl group. It's a long chain at the position, meta position or third position with respect to the phenolic group, which is available at a very low price. The whole process is green. E-beam does not pollute. And if we can make nano level circuits printed on silicon wafers or other surfaces to make nano devices, which will be used in material science, biomedicine, and so on. Is it a dream? These are all published papers from me. They've been waiting for an occasion. In सबकी characterization FTIR से किया है. हमने इनकी यूवी स्पेक्ट्रोस्कोपी की है. हमने इनके और भी कैरेक्टराइजेशन किए हैं, जैसे यूवी स्पेक्ट्रम हुआ या H1 NMR स्पेक्ट्रम हुआ या FTIR स्पेक्ट्रोस्कोपी से. We have characterized all this is present in my papers, including two-dimensional NMR spectroscopy. It's a bit mouthful, I'm claiming, but these are all published materials. That means you can make a molecular wire. That means you can have a nano switch. Today, I think I have not yet bought it, but in India, you have a remote for a fan. I just now switched off my AC. We don't need an AC in this climate, but I put on the AC for some time and I'll do it again just now. And that's with my remote. यार अभी आपका स्विच तो दीवार में लगा हुआ ना. अब आपके स्मार्ट शर्ट में वो स्विच हो तो आप टच करिए तो आपका एसी चल जाएगा. ये वाला स्विच टच करिए आपके शर्ट में या टी शर्ट में तो आपका टीवी चल जाएगा, आपका दरवाजा खुल जाएगा. I hope if there is a problem with your heart or your artery, that small motor driven molecular switch or molecular motor or a small nano car will go and clear up the clog or the what is it called? The, blood clot in your artery and so on, save you from death. I am not saying this. People are following this all over the world. You can do it without all this. You can have something like a pen and draw the circuits. Dip in nanolithography. All these facilities are available in many places in India, many national labs, including IIT Mandi. They are publishing very good papers. What is my worry? My worry is my young students, different colleges, my colleagues in different colleges are left out of the picture. They are just looking up as hungry people. हम कैसे साइंस करें और हम इस दुनिया में कैसे साइंस करें? हमें तो 18 घंटे पढ़ाना पड़ता है, एग्जामिनेशन का काम करना पड़ता है, हमें कॉलेज चलाना पड़ता है, सामान खरीदना पड़ता है, बच्चों को उनके एंटरटेनमेंट के लिए प्रोग्राम करना पड़ता है, इलेक्शंस करने पड़ते हैं, इम्तिहान चलाने पड़ते हैं, मल्टीफेरियस ड्यूटीज हैं। और सेंट स्टीफेंस में तो एक फैमिली है, हम सब अपना दुख सुख बांट के रहते हैं खुशी से, एक फैमिली जैसे। वहां जाके आप कहें पैसा, प्रोड्यूस रिजल्ट्स, प्रोड्यूस पेपर्स, इम्पैक्ट फैक्टर्स पेपर्स नहीं है तो आपको प्रमोशन नहीं देंगे, आपको हटा देंगे। और स्टूडेंट्स जस्ट बैठे हुए हैं, यानी ये क्या क्या कहानी सुनाते हैं हमें। When will we do science? I told you during the next summer, most of you can get positions. Even if you are not selected, you write to some professor, sir, I'm coming on my own money. I want to learn from you. I want to work with you. Let me give an instance from Carnatic music. This is possible in arts, dance, music. There is this young man who is about 55 years old now. He is from the royal family of Trivandrum. He was very much interested in music. And his grandmother encouraged him to take interest in music. So he went all the way to Andhra Pradesh. He met that famous musician Balamurali Krishna. Balamurali Krishna asked him, why have you come? What do you want? He said, I want to learn Tillana from you, one form of music which is also support for dance. So I want to learn Tillana. All right, sing one of my Tillanas. He sang. Can you believe it? This Prince Ravi Verma, not the original Ravi Verma, who's famous from the same family, from 80. Ravi Verma's IIT interaction with one of the IITs is now very much a video that's being followed by young people. I forget which IIT. A very recent meeting. He's a great musician. 17 years he lived with Balamurali Krishna in his home, learned Telugu, and he sings such wonderful Telugu songs, which are all authored, composed by Saint Tyagaraja. It's very good, super popular. What is the message? Seek your man or woman, scientist, or any other area of work, dance, music, creative arts, anything that you're interested, even say culinary arts. You can be a good cook, you can be a good sportsman. Go to the top person and touch his or her feet and say, sir, आपसे सीखने आया हूं, आपके साथ काम करने आया हूं। आज लग रहा है कैरियर के पीछे लोग पागल हैं। मेरा क्या होगा? मेरा क्या होगा? What will happen to me? Will I get a job? Will I get married? Will I have children? यार हम सब यहाँ पूरी दुनिया में काम करके रह चुके हैं, ये सब तो सेकेंडरी हैं। आप आए किस लिए इस दुनिया में? Why have you come to this world? You have to come to achieve excellence, not at the expense of others, but taking people along with you. This is the core message that I want to give you. The cashew nut shell liquid, a low-cost chemical, can compete with metacresol and paracresol in an environmentally friendly manner, is a message not known to government authorities. I told you, the director who just retired in 2023 said to me, sir, हमें तो पता भी नहीं आपको पेटेंट मिला है. This is a DRDO lab. I'm saying we are, for technological reasons, for purposes of money and trade, we are possibly not careful with our indigenous resources, including what I said at the beginning, Basmati. CSIR won a big case by going to international courts and make sure that Basmati is not patented by anybody. Haldi, in this case, 2 Indians were involved. That was also revoked. But nobody knows that he has heard of this work on cashew nut shell liquid, a property of not St. Stephen's College, a property of DRDO. Why did I give this entire property to DRDO? In the year around 2000, some changes took place. And I went to see the director, the new director of SSPL. I did not know him. I walked into his office and he suddenly said, "What, Dr. S.P. Eswaran?" I said, "Yes." No, Dr. Abdul Kalam has sent a note for you. And you tell me, what do you want? I have the powers to give you 5 lakhs just now. 5 lakhs was a lot of money in the year 2000, 1999, going to 2000. I immediately accepted. And under their rules, I was granted 4.9 lakhs in St. Stephen's College with a support for a research student who would work with me for those many years. This is something that happened in 2000. 2010 is the grant of the patent. So many papers. Where is the technology? This is a situation that is repeated again and again and again in India. I re-emphasize, I'm not here to produce money. If there is huge amount of money coming, I'd like the benefit to go to organizations like St. Stephen's College, which has lived a bare existence. I repeat, what are the quality of chairs in our college main hall? Are they hardly supported by any cushions or soft things? It's bare chairs. Only around 2011, we put air conditioners in our lecture rooms. College lived on bare existence, but it made sure that we produced and maintained a degree of excellence unparalleled. I am not keeping any other institution away. All other institutions have grown in the meantime. Miranda House, Hindu College in Delhi. Many other institutions have grown. ICERs, IITs, we're nothing against them. But our charter of St. Stephen's College is different from the charter of the IITs, the ICERs, national labs. I don't know where we are confusing this charter. An undergraduate college of excellence must remain with its charter. I sat with the current principal, spent an hour, he agreed with me. I said, make sure that you do not deviate from our chosen path, which you chose as early as 1881. Our path is chosen by people who are well-wishers of St. Stephen's College, and we'll retain ourselves on that path. I think I've spoken for nearly a list about 50 minutes. It is time that we open up this for discussion. If I have made any errors or I've overstated the case, I would apologize to the audience for not having been correct about the position. But all this is published work. It is available in the internet. You can cross-check. Before I close, can you see this book? Essays on Chemistry, a Central Science Playing God. This is published by Vigyan Prasad, 2018 January. But Vigyan Prasad has been closed by the Parliament. If you contact my students, you can get copies, pay some nominal amount to get copies of Grandpa's Noble Tales, published December 2017. None of those topics I have covered in these lectures. The third book was with Vigyan Prasad. They were just going to publish it. This is Essays Binding Chemistry with Life. But unfortunately, Vigyan Prasad itself had to close down. I want you to read all what is published in my research work, but that's difficult to read. So I've written essays to make them easier, but people want me to talk in very, very simple words. There must be another series of lectures where I'm addressing common, ordinary public. And the technology and technical terms will have to be kept away from that audience. But this audience, I presume, is a better audience than the one for whom popular lectures have to be given. You are all undergraduate students. None of the topics that I have mentioned are part of textbooks yet. But it's not very long before they also become part of textbooks. And maybe a few years from now, students will have to answer questions to get their degree based on some of the inputs that I have given. Yes, I have been careful not to bring in totally new concepts, but work which I have done, not for the sake of advertisement, but to inform my audience, look, you are the torch bearers. You have to pick up the work. Thank you.
If you have any questions, please free to ask.
I will ask Dr. Sujit Kumar Thakur to speak either in English or in Hindi, why he wants me to pursue this work again at this age. क्यों परेशान कर रहे हो भाई?
हेलो,
हाँ बताइए क्यों परेशान कर रहे हैं, इसको आगे आगे ले जाइए, छोड़ दें इसको, गंगा जी में बहा दें.
इस आई थिंक सर इसके 3 और 4 मेरे हिसाब से 4 पॉइंट हैं.
बताइए.
पहला पॉइंट ये है कि इसमें क्या हम सीख सकते हैं, जो टेक्नोलॉजी आपने डेवलप किया, क्या हम सीख सकते हैं उस टेक्नोलॉजी को, क्या उसको और आगे ले जा सकते हैं, क्या उससे कुछ इंडिया का भला हो सकता है. दूसरा बात कि जैसा कि आपने बोला कि एक टीचर और एक इस तरह से काम करने वाले लोगों के लिए पैसा मतलब प्राइमरी हो ही नहीं सकता, वो सेकेंडरी हो सकता है, टर्शियरी हो सकता है. तो पैसा कमाना उद्देश्य नहीं है. हाँ, मतलब उद्देश्य ये है कि हम ये चीज़ कर पाएँ, ये टेक्नोलॉजी इंडिया के नाम, इंडिया में पेटेंट हो, इंडिया के लिए काम करना एक उसमें मेन इंस्पिरेशन है. तीसरा चीज़ ये है कि उस जो हमारा साइंस है या जो हम कर रहे हैं उसको ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा हम कर पाएँ, जो लोग हैं जो इसमें इंटरेस्टेड हैं, हमसे जुड़े, हम उनके साथ काम करें, वो भी हमसे सीखे, हम भी उनसे सीखे. परंपरागत जो एक ये है सीखने की जो कला है वो आगे बढ़ती रहे. एक तो ये है. तीसरी चीज़ ये, जो चौथा पॉइंट ये है कि हम इन सब चीज़ों को करने के बाद क्या हम ये अंत है, क्या ये अंत है? नहीं, ये शुरुआत है. हर पग हमारा शुरुआत है. तो इसलिए हम इस शुरुआत के परंपरा को जारी रखना चाहते हैं कि खत्म ना हो, ये जलता रहना चाहिए दिया, तभी प्रकाश होता रहेगा. यही एक मेरा विजन है सर इसके लिए.
बहुत बढ़िया, अच्छा बोले, अच्छे शब्दों में बोले, मेरा दिल खुश कर दिया आपने. अब हमारे ऑडियंस में कोई और है जिनको कुछ सवाल हो, शंका हो, कुछ पूछना हो, कमेंट करना हो तो जरूर करें. जानवी कुछ बोलना चाहती हैं. अच्छा, 3 बुक्स का नाम. पहली किताब है Essays on Chemistry, a Central Science Playing God by Me, published January and released by by Vigyan Prasar in the Pragati Maidan in 2018 January. I repeat, Essays on Chemistry, a Central Science Playing God. You can still get it from the internet. You contact either your head of the department or Dr. Sujit Thakur or Mr. Manubhav Arya. We have many printed copies of Grandpa's Noble Tales, where chota small incidents, anecdotes, and tales about scientists are written. Third one, Essays Binding Chemistry with Life. Many of the topics I'm talking to you in this series come from this yet to be published book. Manubhav has possibly listed them. Where have we put them? In the chat box?
Yes, sir.
Anybody else? Any other comment or thought?
Yes, sir. I have a question regarding what are the advantages does Deakin Nanolithography offer for molecular transport and patterning at the nanoscale level?
Please repeat your question slowly because the voice audio is not very good. Slowly.
Okay, sir. I just want to know about the advantages does Deakin Nanolithography offer for more molecular transport and patterning at the nanoscale level?
Yeah. You see, nanolithography, when I was teaching in St. Stephen's College in the year 1985, I'm answering the question, give me a minute. My student Ipsita Roy, she's a professor in Sheffield in UK now, came the other day to meet me. And she was the first student to join, the biotechnology course in JNU, Jawaharlal Nehru University. She is now a professor of material science in UK. Nanotechnology word was not there at that time. Sometime later, a committee was formed with about 40 members by Government of India, chaired by Professor C.N.R. Rao, who knows me very well, knows my background. He was very kind to me. Came to St. Stephen's College. Then he was very worried. He said, "You have such a small screen. How will people be able to see my lecture?" And then he almost became angry. I said, "No, sir, we don't have anything else. We have only a small screen." And then he said, "How many people will come to hear my lecture?" He wanted minimum 200. I told him when he was returning in his car, I said, "Sir, more than 400 people came to hear you." Professor C.N.R. Rao was the chairman of this committee on nanotechnology. And today, in all our national labs, nano-derived technologies are being worked upon. How many of them have become products? But my young friend, what's your good name, young lady? Your good name?
Alma.
Alma is not asking that. She's asking, how would it help? How is it better than, say, for example, things made like microelectronic devices? This is much smaller size. These can do work very efficiently, say, in the human body or for, doing work in material science, where, as she rightly said, suppose you had to carry a drug. The other day, my friend Saptarishi was repeatedly asking, suppose you make a drug for treating a particular disease. Which was the disease we were mentioning the other day? If you remember, I said people are today looking for nano versions of drugs. What is the advantage? They'll work at a very low dose. They will have very little side effects. They'll be much more potent. They'll cure faster. In medicine, similarly, in material science, your gadgets, your devices will be very small, very tiny. They can go and do work in areas where we found, for example, I said the other day, who's that Russian astronaut is going to save Sunita Williams? She is going to be saved by an astronaut who knows how to repair things in space. You may not be able to carry huge gadgets. For example, the rovers that are being sent to Mars, Moon, Jupiter, and so on are all based on nano devices, which a Raman spectrometer, which is able to study very small amount of samples, a IR spectrometer, a UV spectrometer, a mass spectrometer. There are now chemical reactors, micro reactors, which fit into your palm, आपके हाथ के साइज पे, और इसमें आप मिलीग्राम में बना सकते हैं, kilograms में प्रोडक्शन कर सकते हैं. So the round bottom flask of the chemist will be replaced by micro reactors. These micro reactors are available. I've seen one of them, but I did not have the money to buy such a micro reactor. I'm not aware of people using in colleges micro reactors. Colleges can become production centers. The same micro reactor can produce, say, today I was reading that the ministry has raised a red flag on the quality of kerosene, paracetamol. How can we allow poor quality kerosene or paracetamol to be taken by the entire population and possibly the rest of the world? The regulations must be very strict. Our processes must give us exactly very pure, 100% pure drug. Nano size allows easier delivery. But of course, some word of caution. You should not oversell, because nano materials can be toxic. If they are inhaled as powders, they can be very toxic. That is why I told you in the second lecture that my things are all water soluble. My nano drugs are water soluble. So they'll be washed off from the human system. So toxicity will almost not be there, or zero or low toxicity. Yet they'll work faster and better. Are you satisfied with this answer, Alma?
Yes, sir. Thank you so much.
Good. Anybody else? Life is not a bed of roses. You have to struggle. You have to continue to struggle. You get good marks does not mean that you get admission anywhere you want. People scrutinize your applications closely. For those students who are wanting to go abroad and need one more year of some work, I had given some answers the other day, but I want to state that one way is to engage in some project work for 1 year in a place chosen by you, with a scientist chosen by you. And you tell the person, I'm working with you for 1 year on whatever you are asking me to. I learn from you, and then I will try and go and do higher studies in America. Is it time that we close this session?
Yes, sir.
Fair enough.
Thank you everyone for joining us on the 5th day of a lecture series. We will be sharing feedback forms shortly. Please take a moment to provide your valuable insights. Once again, I would like to express my gratitude to Professor Eswaran for his informative and engaging lecture today. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you. Best of luck to everybody. Bye.